Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to make an upgraded version of a Jenga Block truck that I've made last winter. I had a little bit different ideas. Similar format, it's not the exact same style as the hood. Is going to be longer. I want to try a little bit something different. So I am going to use the tumbling tower. Now I'm using the ones that I got from Dollarama. You can use the one from the Dollar Tree. A lot of crafters I know did use the ones from Dollar Tree and had no issues with the original version of the Jenga Block truck that I made. Now, if you want to go look at that tutorial, just click on the list on the channel here, and you'll see it. It's probably about 15 tutorials down. You can check that tutorial out, or you can do the upgraded version, which I'm gonna just change it. It's a little bit different, not so boxy, but I'll get to that later. So I'm gonna use these ones. You can use them. I know a lot of crafters that ask me about the sizing difference. The only difference when you're gonna use it, you might have to change one Jenga block or two when you make yours. It's gonna be the exact same format, except it's gonna be smaller when you use the smaller Jenga blocks. Now, the glue I'm going to use today is Well Bond. Now, I used E6000 before, and I really liked E6000, and then I decided to give this one a try. You can buy it at Lowe's or Rona. I found it a little bit cheaper, and I find it dries clear and it dries fast. So it's not as fast as like Crazy Glue, but it's faster than E6000. I did a test on a few Jenga blocks a few months ago. I wanted to see which one had the better hold, and believe it or not, Well Bond was a lot better. I was able, with enough force, to do the E6000 and was able to snap the blocks apart. This one was really, really hard for me to snap the blocks apart, and this is my go-to now. I don't use E6000. I do have a little bit of E6000 left from a tube, but this is the one I go to. But you can use Gorilla Glue, whatever you've maybe used in the past that works really well. I know a lot of people always ask what glue I use. So I did do some organizing with the truck, so I didn't have to do the fast forward and everything like that. And I did label them. They're all off to the side. So we're gonna go step by step. At the end of the video, I will tell you exactly how many Jenga blocks, as I've been writing them down, as I've been gluing them together, and I've let them dry today. And so let's get started. So now we're gonna do the base of the truck, which I wrote down on these little papers so I didn't get confused because there's lots of pieces around. So on the base of the truck is gonna be the trunk. I called it the truck trunk. So this is the one that I've used, and it has 12 blocks, and I've did them, as you can see, in this format. The next step we're gonna do is we're gonna put on the back. Now, this is the very back end of the truck, and I've used 8. So it's gonna be glued like such. Then I have the sides of the truck, which is gonna be glued on top. The back end is glued on the bottom, exactly on the side. Let me just show you on a side view. On a side like that. Now these ones, the sides, there's 2 sides, are gonna be glued right on top. So there is gonna be a lip at the back that you can see of the back trunk, but that's fine. And I'm gonna glue the other side on as well. The next step would be the rear, I call it the rear seat. So this would be behind the main seat in the driver and passenger, and that one will go like the back on the bottom, not sitting on top, because obviously, see, there's no room. So the next thing I used were these wood cubes, mini block cubes. You can get them at pretty much every dollar store. I did glue 10 together, and this is going to fit right along this back piece of the rear of the cab, and it just goes flush to show you that it just matches up perfectly. Because if you were to use another Jenga block, it doesn't, I mean, it's up to you. If you want the back a little bit higher, you could also do the back a little bit higher in the truck, but I just used the wood cubes. So I'm gonna glue these together and then we'll move on to the next step. Okay, once I glued the back. Now we're gonna do the side doors, one on the passenger, and it's gonna be the bottom part of the door on the passenger and the driver's side. So each side I used for the bottom part was 4 Jenga blocks. I used the 3 and the one on top, and I actually did it that it's inwards. So when you glue them on, it will be the overhang will be on the inside of the truck, and we'll do that on both sides, like such. The next step would be adding the top. Now the top reminds me of a little table. Now this will be sat on there like that. When you're putting the legs, you need 8 of them for the top part. When you're gluing them, make sure when you're looking on the side, you're gluing them, that you don't glue them like such, that you want to glue them like this, or this opening will be a lot smaller and it won't look as nice. So I will glue this off camera. So like that. Now, the next step would be the back of the hood. And this one has 8 Jenga blocks, the 6 on the bottom, 2 vertical. So then that will be attached right to the side doors as well. It attaches a little bit to the top as well. And you will attach it like that. I'm just gonna go, I think, another 2 more steps, and then we're gonna do, I'm just gonna glue the stuff off camera because I don't want it to fall apart when I have to start moving it sideways. So the next step would be doing the bottom hood base. And these are 12 Jenga blocks, as you can see, like this. I'm just gonna put it this way because they are the 12, which is 6 and 6. It's actually a good square. So I'm just gonna match the back because the back trunk goes that way. So I'm just gonna do it this way. Then you're just gonna glue it on to the bottom of the back hood, like such. Now, then you're gonna get to the side engine, as I wanna call them. You're just gonna need 2 of these. You're gonna need 6 on one side and 6 on the other. And that will glue to the back of the hood and the engine base, like such, on both sides. And I'm going to glue this part. And these are just another set of 10 little cube squares. I am gonna glue them right up here. Now, I will go one more step since we're already here. And then the next step will be to put the front, if you want to call it the hood grill. Now I did 2, 4, 6, I did 8 Jenga blocks all sideways, as you can see, and that will fit. So you're probably better to glue the one and then glue the front grill in, and then glue this one on right after. Then this way it will sit a little bit better. I'm just gonna move this down a bit. Now I wanted the hood of the truck to be a lot bigger just because I will show you what I have in store for that idea. So once these are all glued, I'm gonna have to go back step, glue all these on, is we're gonna do the hood top. Now the hood top has 12 pieces. Now you could have did them actually both this line and then the exact same. I just switched them around because I was playing around with it earlier. So I will stick it and it just matches right on top like such. So everything, this is the base. Now there will be other Jenga pieces, a few in other spots, and you'll see when I'll show you, but let me get this glued on and then we will move on to the next step. Okay, now that I let that dry, we're gonna move on to the wheels. So I'm just gonna show you. Now, when I did my original Jenga Block truck, I used wheels from a scooter, which was from another dollar store, or a 4-wheeler. This one I wanted a little bit bigger tires If you look online, I find they're very expensive. And so I went to my thrift shop, and I always say, check your thrift shop in the toy section. There was this old tractor. As you can see, I've pulled some of it apart already. It was a couple bucks. I've already pulled the back wheels off of that. I'm just gonna show you in a minute how we'll do that. Also, I just went on the whole, I actually pulled the top right off of it. I don't need that anymore. I just went through on just seeing what little parts I could use on it. And not that I'll use it for this one, but I was able to pull off the steering wheel, which I probably use this in the truck. Now on the other Jenga block, I did use, on the other Jenga block truck that I made, I did use, I don't have it here, it's the airplane. You get these little packages at Dollar Tree, and the one I used on that one was the airplane wheel in the same kind of package, but there's an airplane picture on it, the wood shop. And it was a circular thing, not as thick. And I just used, they had a little dowel, and I stuck it in and I glued it on the other truck. This one, I'm probably just gonna use this little steering wheel as I pulled them off. And I'll pull the other wheels off in case I do another project that only needs 2 wheels. So, oops, sorry about that, guys. So now that I have this glued, I'm just gonna turn it upside down. Just gonna make sure this is in the camera fully. It is. Okay. Now I pulled the wheels off, which were like this. I pulled them off, and we're gonna get, I don't have it here, a dowel. Now I will glue it and stick it in inside like such. I'll take that off and glue it after. And then I already have one done here. This one's glued already. I'm gonna take some probably electrical tape, and I will glue them, but you're gonna put them on here. Now, the one thing about wheels that I always suggest is when you're getting wheels, especially to hold the weight of the Jenga block truck, you wanna make sure that the wheels are hard plastic. Now, you don't want cheap plastic that it might snap or break. These ones are pretty solid, so I will tape these together. And I'm gonna measure them first, and I'll put a line right on the dowel here. And then I will use some Well-Bond glue, as well as I will put some hot glue just to seal it on. I never had any problems. You can move them, but in all honesty, with the Jenga block, you don't really want people to be playing around with it, you know, children and stuff like that, because they might break it or bump it. But I mean, if that's the choice, you want to make them movable, that's more than you could do. You can do that. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get these all glued on, and then we're going to move on to adding some features around the wheels. Now, we're not just going to do the wheels and then it's done. We're going to actually add some, I'm trying to think of the name of them, kind of like the hubs over the wheels on both sides. So let me get those glued on, and then we'll move on. Okay, I didn't glue on the wheels. The reason being is because we're going to build over it, and I figure it's going to be too hard to paint. So right now they're just sitting on there. I have a piece of Jenga that's keeping it up on this side so it is level, because you're going to have to measure it. Now, depending on the size of the Jenga blocks that you're going to use, you'll have to measure it. So I'm not going to give you dimensions. Now, I bought this little gadget. I'm just going to pull it over here. It's a little bit dirty right now. I bought this little gadget. It's called a mini cutoff saw, and I've actually used it a few times on only a few crafts, I think 1 or 2 crafts, but it comes in really handy, and it just has a little blade on it. Super easy, friendly to use. I believe it was just with shipping and stuff, and I'm in Canada, so I believe it was only just under $50, and it works really well. So I'm just gonna move this out of the way. Now, what I want to do, because we're going to add on to this, so this is going to be the base. So what I want to do is kind of get to almost where it's covering the whole wheel. So I'm going to have to cut them. So I want to build almost like don't even know the proper word over it. So this is going to be a little bit too, it's just cutting it too close. And I'm going to add an extra piece of Jenga on top. Now, I'm going to add a piece in there just to give it a little bit of leeway. The reason why I didn't glue the wheels on after I thought about it when I went off camera last time is it's going to be too hard to paint around there. You're going to end up getting on the tires. So once we do the hubs and we get all that on, then we'll be able to paint. It'll be easier, and then you can just plop them back in on the foundation. So you're just going to have to measure how much you actually want. And then I don't have a pencil on me, do I? No. So I will mark it here and I will cut it off so it's level to the bottom. But like I said, I want to build a base, and that will be for the front and the back. We are going to add something over the Jenga block. Just gives it more of a realistic look. If you put it this way, then the tire is a lot thicker sticking out. I'm just trying to get it to almost level to where it's at. And you're gonna have to do a little bit of maneuvering. I am gonna add a piece in there because I want it to be just a little bit wider than the tire itself. Oh, I think this one was already cut it once. Still too long. So I am going to use my little, you can use the little, I've used the little handsaw at Dollar Tree, which is pretty good. The only problem with that is it does take time, especially if you're going to do these on the other side. You might find, depending on the size of your Jenga, you might not have to do all of them. They might just fit perfect. I don't have any on right here to show you. That might fit a little bit better depending on your wheels too. So if your wheels are a little bit bigger or excuse me, or a little bit smaller, they might fit a little bit better. So I'm not going to give any measurements on that. I'm just going to play around, and since all you crafters are really good at figuring a lot of crafts out because you guys do it, I'm sure you'll be able to figure it out, because we are going to build something over this, and I'm going to show you that. So I'm going to do all the sides, and then we're going to come back and I'm going to show you what I've done, because we're also going to build on top of the engine some pieces, but I'm going to do the sides first, and then we're going to go on to the top of the engine. All right, so I cut the blocks and I just wanted to show you. So I leveled them down. If I can stick this in here without tipping it. That I had that when I put them on. So I just, like I showed you, I just cut the Jenga blocks. I measured it from the distance that I wanted to go around. I added a little bit of an extra piece when I did cut them in the side to make it wider to fit the tire. So it all depends on the tire size that you're going to use. I just want to show you the top here. So the top, my son wanted me to put some a top on it, and he didn't want it just to be left plain. He wanted I guess a raised part. Now it's hard to do something that's round, especially when you're working with Jenga blocks. So I just did the one. I had a couple extra little pieces from when I cut on the sides of the bumpers. I put 2 extra, so it kind of just goes down a bit. I mean, you could do it a little bit, you know, if you want to do it right to the end. I think I'm just going to leave it where it is and just leave it like that. I did glue it all on, excuse me, I did glue it all on already. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to paint it. We still have to add some bumpers, the steering wheel and such, but because those are going to be a different color, we are going to do a ledge here, which I have a really cool idea for that I think will work really well. But I want to paint it before I add the extras, because other than it being red, the other pieces are all going to be different colors. So then it's not, when you're painting it, that you're not putting, and then this way we can put on the wheels. And I am going to change the wheels. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave them. I'm going to see when it's red. I think I want to change the wheels, that I actually want white wheels, and then the little circle part here, silver. I think that's what I want to do. But let me get this painted, come back, and then we'll move on to the bumpers. Okay, I just wanted to come back and show you. So I did finish painting it. I used the Dollar Tree Tuscany red, and I think this is the same color that I used on my barn, if I remember correctly. Now, there's a couple different things I was going to change up, and I'm just going to show you here. Let me put this way. So, for the bumper and the bumper on both ends, I just took 2 Jenga blocks like this, and I just painted them black. So one will go on the front on the bottom, and one will go on, let's see, on the back. Now, you don't need to see me glue those on. So on the front, I'm just gonna stand this up here. On the front of this, I wanna do a grill. I have this piece of wood here. Now you can use 2 Jenga pieces. I mean, you can omit that and just keep it the way it is. I'm gonna use, so we'll have, let me just show you. So we'll have the little bumper there. And then I'm just gonna glue this one on there. I'm gonna paint that black, but I took a cookie pie, a cookie sheet from Dollar Tree, and I just cut it. And I'm just gonna glue it, once I paint it black, I'm just gonna glue this little piece right on top of the little block. So I will do that off camera. So I also wanted to show you some other things. Now, if you've watched my videos before, you know that I'm always, sometimes I change things as I go. Sometimes I get different ideas. So my little thing that I came up with last night, it was sitting there, I was like, because I didn't do it on the original one that I created, is I'm like, I should put a little back bench and a seat inside the truck. Now, if I knew this idea prior, I probably just wouldn't put the tabletop of the truck on, and it would have been much easier to access. But once again, the opening is in the middle, underneath, so you'll be able to put it in there. Now, I didn't use the regular size, I used a little bit smaller size Jenga blocks. So these are the ideas that I had. Now, I glued 4 up and down, and I did the regular size. It all depends on which Jenga blocks you're using, and you're gonna have to adjust the sizing to the according to the blocks that you're using. I mean, you can omit this step as well. I just thought it'd be really cool to have an actual back seat and a seat and then the backrest of it. So I'm gonna flip it this way. I'm gonna show you, but I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna cover with it. I'm not gonna paint it black because I could just put the backrest. You can do it however high you want it. I've decided I'm gonna put another 10 little cubes here, so that'll be an extra 10 just to make it a little bit higher on the back end of the trunk. And I will paint those off camera. And then once I glue that on, but I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna put on this before I put that there. When I glue that on, it's really hard to show you. It's kind of an awkward. I'm gonna kind of do it, let me just show you this way. I'm gonna do it like this. Now, the blocks are longer, only because if you remember, on the sides of the doors, the lip here is hanging over. So this is why I left it, I don't know which way we're facing, but why I left it a little bit smaller. But under the door part, they're gonna fit properly. So it will be glued like this. I don't know if this makes sense to you. It's gonna be glued like this. So when you see it on the side angle, let me use this little piece here, will be put in the back. And just imagine these two are together, and it'll be like a seat. And then this, we will do the steering wheel after, but this will be, I don't know if I can, I don't think I can put 2, but there'll be another little extra block. Now you can paint them black, and you can leave it as such. You can, like I said, skip this step. But what my idea was, I was like, yeah, I remember having my crafting, you know, we all tend to save. We always buy stuff. Well, I know I buy stuff and I'm like, oh, you know what? I might be able to use that. Now, if y'all remember some of my videos about the faux leather you can get at Dollar Tree, I'm going to wrap these with the leather. So it'll be a leather interior seat and backrest on them. And I'm just going to, almost like gluing, and I'm going to glue it down more so you're not going to see it, and it's going to be tucked in. Now, I don't know if you've seen any of my my Barbie Jenga block bed that I made. Just like wrapping a little bit present. Just tucking it in. And then you have the seams which will just fit nicely. And that will be the leather inside seat. And I will wrap the bottom, and then I will wrap the back rest of that. So that was my idea for that. I will, don't worry, I'll show you all that once I do it. Now, like I said, I'm gonna, once I get that installed in there and let it glue and let it sit and dry, I will add an extra back just for a little bit higher, because the back end of the trunk is a little bit higher, as you can see, so I will have this a little bit higher. Now, the next thing, once again, this is totally up to you. If you're finding this one a little bit difficult, you can always look through my videos. I did create the original rustic Jenga block truck, which is much easier. This one, I went a little bit, I just wanted to add more detail to it. So this one's actually gonna be a Christmas gift for my father. So I took 2 smaller Jenga blocks. Let me just move this here. Sorry, guys. Now, you can use whatever you'd like. I would suggest something with a little bit thicker of an edge. I mean, you can use popsicle sticks. I don't think that you could probably stack them and make them a little bit thicker, if that makes sense, because you want it to hold. Like, I don't think putting a popsicle stick is gonna, I'm just giving you options, guys. So I just put 2, so there is a little bit gap on each side, and that's okay. So once again, I'm gonna go and grab my cookie sheet, and I got one over here drying. So I just wrapped it almost like a candy bar. I haven't done the sides yet, but I'm gonna fold them in just like a present. Once again, cut it shorter and then wrap it and tuck it. And then it will fit in there, but I'm not gonna leave it silver. I'm actually gonna do it black. Some of the pictures, I was just looking up at some of the old red trucks that I saw online, and a lot of them have the little, I guess if you wanna call it the step, and a lot of them were black. So that's just the idea that I'm just gonna use. And I did try painting. Sometimes different surfaces don't paint really well. And I know from when I did my my farmhouse windmill that it was just kind of sketchy how it dried, but I just did a quick splash and it actually worked. So I'll probably have to do a couple coats maybe, and then that will be done at the footsteps on each side. So let me get some of this done. I'm going to come back and show you, and then we will do the steering wheel part on it and the lights. Okay, so now we're gonna do the steering wheel and the door handles. I used this one on my last project for my other Jenga block truck that I did. If you click on my channel and on this channel, and then you click on videos, you go down the list. It's from last February, I believe it is. You'll see a different version. But anyways, so I bought the fighter plane, which is from Dollar Tree, and it comes with a bunch of different parts. What I'm gonna use are, I don't even know what part this is on the plane, but this little part here, I'm actually gonna cut it shorter, and I'm gonna use those for the door handles. I'm gonna paint them black or silver. I haven't decided yet. I guess I'll wait till I cut them. And then I'm going to There's this piece. I don't know, this piece is for the plane. I'm not sure what they are, but I used this one last time for my other truck as well. So basically you're just gonna glue that in, but instead of doing it this way, I'm gonna glue it kind of like on an angle upwards, like a steering wheel would be. Some people, I guess, drive like that, but I'm gonna put them up that way. I'm gonna do this black because then I will match the inside. At the end, I'm gonna show you. It's hard with the camera where it is to show you the inside of the truck. It turned out really well. I did use Well Bond and I did use some Gorilla hot glue. I don't know if you guys can see it, if I can put it this way. The inside, I decided to opt out with putting that extra piece in the back here. I like the look of the leather and it turned out really, really well. And I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to show you at the end. I'm going to show you a clearer picture of it. For the headlights, I had a few different ideas. I have these little pieces of wood. I don't know where I got them from. They're really good, but I'm just going to keep it simple like I did on the other truck. And I'm just going to use the glass flat marbles that you can get from Dollar Tree. Dollarama carries them as well. And I'm just going to glue them on the front top and the back bottom right over the bumper and at the front over the grill. Those will be the headlights. Now, to do the wheels, I'm going to show you because now that everything's painted, I'm just going to show you because they're not glued on, but they seem to be sticking there. So you can see it's still drying a bit underneath, but putting the hot glue actually will make it, I did a little higher. I didn't do to the bottom and the back. I did a little bit higher so you can see it where you're putting in. It was pretty easy when I put it in to glue it and putting in the back. I used the Well Bond and, like I said, the Gorilla Glue. So now with the wheels, when you have them, I'm going to use Well Bond and use hot glue at the same time so it holds them together. But when you glue them, just make sure that the dowels, are glued flat, that they're not glued like this because they'll have a better secure on. Just make sure that you have them centered on the sides when you glue them. I don't know if you can see that side too, but I'm just gonna, like I said, hot glue and some Well Bond. You can get this at Lowe's or Rona. Love this glue, way better than E6000. I did see some bad reviews about E6000, and not that that's not why I didn't use it anymore. I just found this one, it's cheaper and it holds a lot better. It dries faster, and Rona, Lowe's carries it. Maybe some other stores carry it, I don't know. I just have the local Rona by my house, that where I grab it from. So let me get the wheels glued on and we will put the steering wheels and the doors. At the end of the video, I will show you all the insides closer up on the inside the truck with the leather seating. And please make sure you like, and please make sure, you know, if you have any questions, you can always reach me. If you don't want to put a public comment, you can always reach me on Facebook on the Crafty Shopper page. You can send a private message there, or an IG. You can also send me a message on the Crafty Shopper on that page as well. And I'm always open. If you ever have any questions or you're stuck somewhere, you can always message me. So let me get this done and then I will come back and show you the final product. Okay, everybody, I thought I'd show you the final results. So I just put a tree in the back and I had a roll of bale of hay. I can just show you here. It's actually just a corn can with jute rope around it. I put it on a Lazy Susan so I can just kind of like move it around. So I did attach the footstep and the door handle. I did end up painting the tires white and then just did the black circle on them. Oh, it's gonna hit everything. I think I should have moved everything a little bit further in the back. I was trying to hide all my crafting supplies on my dining room table. Now the back, I just added a little piece of square which is just the handle to open the back of the trunk. And I think it turned out really well. I don't know if you can see the back, the leather back part of the interior, and then as well as the seat inside. You can see there's a bit of a shadow there, but you can see the actual steering wheel. And in the front, I finished off with the actual, sorry, I'm just gonna move this back. I just finished it off with the glass little vase fillers, and you can just add a reef. I just stuck it there just to show you, but I think it turned out really well. I hope my dad really likes it. It's quite an upgrade. It is a lot more work than the original truck that I've done, but I think well worth it. And with Christmas coming, I'm sure he'll love it. He really liked the other one, so this will be a nice surprise for him. So I hope everybody has a great day, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye.